All right, day 6, hopefully the last day. Today, we're gonna be getting the burner mounted onto the boiler. I'll be running the oil lines over to it. Electric will be done. Hopefully at the end of the day, we'll be firing. So we're gonna have to run a new oil line for the existing oil burner that we're using. It's this Carlin 702 CRD. This was on the old boiler. We're gonna put it on the new boiler just for now until we eventually switch over to gas. So there are a lot of adjustments I have to make to this burner and to the oil lines and stuff like that. We'll get into all of that. So what I like to do when I'm running an oil line for my filter setup, this is exactly how I do it. So this is my filter setup. This is the oil line right before it gets into the burner. I like to start with a ball valve just to control things. This is a Firematic valve. This valve is, if there's ever a fire in the boiler room, this handle is made of lead. It'll melt. And when it melts, it closes, there's a spring inside that closes the gate so you wouldn't get any more oil coming in from the tanks. It's just a safety, it's a safety valve. Then what I like to do is come T valve, vacuum gauge. The vacuum gauge is gonna tell me how my filter is performing. Then my filter, general filter, 2A17A, 100 mesh. I like 100 mesh. It's also metal. You can always clean it out instead of coming and changing back to fiber. You can always just take it apart, clean it. Then what I also do is add another T with another gauge. This is so I can also see how the filter is performing. If I have a high differential between before and after my filter, I know my filter's clogged. It's just extra steps I like to take. Just helps things for the next guy or whoever's gonna come and troubleshoot. Then I go down to 1/2 inch flare. From there, onto the burner. So the reason we put vacuum gauges is because on the burner itself, there's a pump pulling oil. So this would all be under vacuum. And if you had a higher vacuum after the filter than you do before the filter, say you had 4 here, 10 here. Well, there you go. Now you know your filter's dirty. You want to shut your valve off, take it out, clean it off, put it back in, check, see what you get. So one of the adjustments I have to make to attach the old burner onto the new boiler is I have to adjust the air combustion tube, this guy here. Now, where you want this exactly is, there's a refractory wall here. You want that air tube to be exactly flushed with the ending of this refractory. So we take our measurement, we have 4 1/4. We transfer that measurement over to the mounting plate. We already adjusted it to 4 1/4 by loosening these 2 screws here. You loosen them, you adjust it to where you want it. So another thing we're gonna replace on the actual oil burner to fit our boiler better are these nozzles. These are the inside of of your burner assembly. These are your nozzles. Under pressure, they spray oil to create your flame. So what they had in there were 2 4s. I'm putting in one 3.5 and one 3.25. That's gallons per hour. We don't need such a high flame on this much smaller boiler. That's it. So, just flip a switch. Went into pre-purge. That's our low fire. It's going to be ramping up to high fire. There's our high fire.